everyone, it's Jennifer, and thank you for joining me today. I have a couple of strands, and these are from Jesse James Beads, and I have two of the Pantone 2023-2024 bead strands, and I'm going to put a link in the description for them. And you know, we're heading into the holidays, and we want to start making gifts for our family and friends. And I'm going to show you a way to take a strand, just a simple strand, and make a simple bracelet. We're going to pull maybe a couple beads off just because, for one thing, I love these beads. And another is, this is about a 7.5 inch strand, because this is about 8 inches across. However, when you put it on a fandy dandy, hopefully you have something a little different than this. Mine's kind of flimsy, and I really could use a good one. But when I put it on this round, because the size of the beads does take up some of the real estate, right? When I do that, it's about a little more than 6 inches of bracelet. So if I'm making a stretch bracelet for someone with a tiny wrist, perfect. However, though, I only want about 5.5 to 5 3/4. So I was just going to take out these beads here and keep all the rest. I thought of even just taking out these little guys, and which I could do as well, and then add some spacers in between. I have some extra spacers from another bead strand. However, though, I want to show you what it's like to take one strand and make something with it. I think I've done this before, and I have. I made a bracelet using, it looked like one of the orange, I think this might have been Orange Crush or something, and I made one using this, and then I use a toggle clasp from that metal assortment toggle clasp set that Jesse James Beads have, and I still have 4 clasps left over to use. I really love it. I think it came with 10 or 12 different style clasps, but this is what we did. I did this a while ago, and I really love it, but I just want to go ahead and make a couple. These are going to be exactly the same. And what I brought in, of course, you know, I'm going to bring in some soft flex. I'm bringing in the champagne color. I am going to also bring in some wire guardians, because I want my wire to be protected, right? The wear and tear, that type of thing. If you watched my last video was me repairing my friend's bracelet here. And it was just because it probably had maybe just one, she might have not got in between 2 strands for the clasp, maybe got only got around 1, and I can see where it snapped. And so we are going to be giving her that. All right, so first thing, oh, and then we're going to use some 2x2 crimp tubes, of course, from Softlex, because we are going to use the magical crimper. We're going to use a magical crimper today. And now that I think about it, I have to look to see if I have any extra beading wire around, because I do like to, and I do like to make the pass be 3 strands, because for me, I just feel like I do a better crimp. I feel like I do it better. You don't have to do it. I think I did it when I started out, and it helped me. And I believe I got the tip from Nile. I think I got the tip from Nile Patel at Silver Silk. Then I have some real thick, these are 19 gauge. They're just 4 millimeter, and these are Tiara cast jump rings. I love them. I have them, and I have jump rings, so many jump rings that I need to get over into my Etsy shop, and I have a ton. I tell you, when Tiara Cast announced that they were closing at the end of the year, I did what everybody did. I bought And what I've done is I've gradually added them into my Etsy shop. I did do a video, I don't know, last week maybe, where it was what's in my Etsy shop. Very uncomfortable for me to do videos like that because I'm not like that. That's not how I'm geared. I'm geared towards, let me show you what I'm going to do. And what an incredible response. You guys have been so generous with your orders. And I am so happy that I can share my Tiara Cast stuff with you. And in fact, I just placed another Tiara Cast order today. So we are going to have more and more Tiara Cast coming your way. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just make the yellow one first. And again, I'm going to take these guys out. For one thing, I want them for another project. Sorry, I made a bunch of noise. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And I am actually going to, here's a shocker for you guys. I'm gonna work from the spool. How's that? If you are new to my channel, I have a tendency to work from the spool quite a bit. I do not like waste. Obviously, I saved 1 inch of wire here. If you are a returning viewer, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the no waste and working from the spool. And what that means is, for those of you that are new beaders, I do get some comments. You know what, everybody? I love the comments. The comments are amazing. And again, my last 2 videos, I felt very uncomfortable doing them because they were sponsored by something other than jewelry. And it was very uncomfortable for me. You guys have been absolutely amazing. For those of you that are new, because I will get some comments and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm new to beading and this helped me out so much. And oh my gosh, do I love that, because it does motivate me and it does give me ideas for my next projects. This is one of them. You are new to beading and you have some strands. Maybe you ordered these from jessiejamesbeads.com. And I'll put a link to these in the description if they're still available. But you don't know what to do with them. You have these strands. What do I do with them? Well, here's an easy way. So I believe Lori, if you're watching, I believe you said you were new to beading. And this is just a real great way to make some easy Christmas gifts. And that's how I started. This is how I started my jewelry adventure, was making gifts for people. And this was one of them. This was one of the very first ones, because I don't think this was a recorded one. I think this was before I started recording. I could be wrong. I might go back. And so, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take out this bead, and then I'm gonna continue on because I think it's gonna look just fine. So Lori, if you're watching, this is a great way for you to make, that does look good. This is a great way for you to make some beautiful, easy projects. And I lost where the deal was. There it is. Easy projects, easy gifts that are stunning. These are stunning beads. All right. And as I'm stringing along, I'm just going to now go ahead and bring up, because I don't like awkward silence. I'm really bad about that. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Monster Mash jewelry making party with Softflex and Jessie James Beads. And guess what? I'm going to be a designer. I'm a designer for the first night. And I will show you, I'm going to take this one out. So I'm taking those out. I will show you what I made, because I got to take it apart. I got to take it apart, and I need to get a good picture of it before I take it apart, so I can remember what I did. I'm going to have that picture up on my computer while I have this overhead here. I did get a new light, new holder, and I can actually, I don't know, we'll have to see. I might have to just sit up a little higher, make my chair a little bit higher, so that you don't see that in front of my face. But I did get a new one and I like it better. It'll be better lighting for the lives, I think. Okay. All right, so here we have it. Now, I said that this was a 7.5 inch strand, right? And 7.5 inches does not, 7.5 inch strand does not equate to 7.5 inches of bracelet, because your bead sizes are going to take up some of that real estate. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it on my fandy dandy. If any of you guys have really good bracelet measurement tools, put that in the description, because I really want to know. Okay, so this is right at 5.5, because I feel like this is just flimsy, and this gets me by. It gets me by, but I think I'm ready for something else. All right. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I'm going to use. Is I have some of this chain in my stash. I am really, really weird about the metals matching, like really, really weird about it. And those all match pretty stinking well. And when I talk about that, I'm not talking about the metal, like this metal having to match that metal. I mean, granted, I like it that way. However, it's not always going to be the case, right? So I would like the hardware to match as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, I think, yeah, those open up. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these and take that off, just like so. And that's going to be my extender. And then get that closed back up. And this was just chain I had in my stash. Okay, and so then I am going to be able to, and I guess it's not that much of an extender, but it will work. So what I'm going to do is you can either link on to or attach to this one here, or if you have an inky dinky wrist, you can attach to the very first notch, or you can go all the way out to the end. Also too, what you can do at the end is you can add other dangles. If you have charms, if you have anything, you know, maybe you have an enamel charm that has some yellow in it, or some gold or gold and white, or something that would look really cute that you would want. Go ahead and add that. I would add that to the very end, or add it to the part that has your clasp. You add it to the part that has your clasp, then you're not going to be fighting that dangle when you're doing your attaching and stuff. Okay, so we have, I'm not going to attach the clasp directly onto the to the necklace or to the bracelet. And here's why. Over time, anything can happen, right? Well, over time, my lobster clasp is going to start malfunctioning. It's going to start getting stuck. Okay. Maybe I never take this off and just wear and tear or what so. If my friend brings this back to me, I've got to take this whole thing apart. However, though, if I just go ahead and add a simple jump ring and go ahead and add my protection here, my wire guards, then I'm handled. All I got to do now is just undo that jump ring. So for those of you that are new beaders, do be aware. Now this one here, I attach directly to the bracelet, okay? But this is not something that's going to malfunction, okay? And I did use wire guards because I want to protect that wire. You never know, right? So, all right. There's your spill. Okay, so I'm still attached. And I don't care how long this is over here, because I'm going to be able to shrink that down or you know, move my beads up to where the ending is once I'm all done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my 2x2 crimp tube. Okay. Then the wire guardian. What is the wire guardian? The wire guardian has like two tubes on each side and then a groove in between, like a little canal. And that's where the wire will sit. And so what you do is you get that in there. Sometimes it's, okay, there you go. Sometimes it's a little difficult. Just boss it around. Who says that? Yes, Miss Kelly. Just boss it around. Okay, and you might want a little bit more room than that. I don't care to have more room than that. I just want about that much. Now, I don't want to forget to add my extender. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to this side first, because then I won't forget, right? Now, you guys have seen what I do. What do I do with my wire guards? I will just kind of pinch them. So I'll grab my standard crimping pliers and I'll just pinch them a little bit. However, though, be cautious of that, because if you have a chain that's pretty thick, like this one is, I'm not gonna try and get that all the way closed up. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm happy with it being just like so. All right. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add that third piece. You do not have to do this. This is preference only. And for me, I like it. It helps me. All right, so now I'm gonna take my 2x2 crimp tubes. And what are the magical crimper? And this one here, it just has one well. You see that? There's just one well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our little crimp tube to that, okay? And this only works with the 2x2. And I'm gonna make sure that it's right in the middle, and then I'm gonna pinch that down in my 4 corners. That's what this initial pinch does. It will pinch down those 4 corners. Then as we start going around with our magical crimpers, then it's going to take those corners and take that wire and kind of embed it into the actual beading wire. And you want to go around until you feel no tension. And see, I'm feeling tension still a little bit. And now I'm not. And so when you take that off, you have a nice bead-like finish. Okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna go ahead and take that very short end there and give it a little bit of a trim. Okay, I'm gonna take this end here, and because I'm going to use it in the other project, right? So I'm going to go ahead and come in. I think it's on this side. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and come in and give it a trim. Make sure your little extenders are not in the way. It is not as difficult as I'm making it look. All right. Then sometimes what I like to do, not for security, because there's no such thing for that, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll take that other wire and pass it through just so that it sits evenly. Sometimes if you take away that one wire, then it might not sit evenly, and that's just me. That's just me. So I'm going to come in as close as I can to that bead and give it the trim. Again, it is not for security. It is all just cosmetic for me. Now I have a couple of inches, and I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. You saw how much I had on the other side, and I'm not adding anything over here. So if we were adding additional beads because we added some over here, then I would add more, but I don't have to add any more. Look how pretty that is. And you don't need a crimp cover. Look at that. That's a 2x2 crimp tube. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. We're going to add our 2x2 crimp tube. We are going to thread that through one side of the wire guardian. We're going to go ahead and pass that back through. And I don't have anything to attach over here because I remembered to attach it on the other side, right? But I am going to take this here and pass it through the crimp tube. And then I'm going to try and pass it through that bead. Again, not for security reasons. I want to make that clear that I don't do it for security. I do it for, actually for, on this side, I do it so I have a little bit more to grab onto. So when I am doing my little bit of crimping here, I have a little bit more to grab onto. Okay. All right. So, and I have this so it's not so stiff. I want to just kind of make sure that I have some room, and I'm going to have room. I'm going to have plenty of room, because also too, you see how there's a little bit of a gap there? That's the one thing too, is that you might end up with a little bit of gap, but you can very easily, we're going to trim that off anyways, and it'll be underneath there. Okay. So I don't want my crimp tube to be sitting on top of my wire guardian. Okay. So now I have something to grab onto kind of away from here, rather than doing it right here and getting in my magical crimper. I'm out here now holding on to that. So I'm going to come in, and I want to make sure that my crimp tube is right there in the middle, and it is. I'm making sure that my wire is sitting in that groove, right? Making sure everything's all good, and I'm going to give it a squeeze. Oh, I didn't add my third wire. Oh no. Okay, I'm feeling a little lost now because I don't have my third wire in there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go around. Let's see if I could do it without that third wire. Okay. I'm going around here, making sure. And there we go. I did it. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I forgot. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and come in as close as I can without trimming the other side, right? And then get that to go in there. There we are. I just can't believe I did that, you guys. Oh, and then look at, do you want to see the waist? There's the waist. That is less than an inch of waist. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and take our amazing tiara cast jump rings. They're so amazing, I can't see where it's slit. There it is. Okay. And go ahead and open it up. Go ahead and add and add. And with these being 19 gauge, they're pretty strong. If any of you guys have used tiara cast, you know how strong their components are. I heard that. I felt it kind of lock into place. Okay, and here we go. Beautiful, huh? Let's see where it ended up at. Oh, it ended up way too big. Oh my goodness. I think for this other one, I am going, and granted, it's probably because of the chain too. I can always take off the chain and just add, because that does add quite a bit. And I can always just add something else there. But that is really big. That's 7.5 inches. So for this one, we're going to cut out a little bit more. What are we going to cut out? Let's see. What are we going to cut? I don't want to cut anything out. That's the sad thing, is I don't want to cut anything. If anything that I'm going to cut out, maybe I can cut out these two big guys right here. All right, so let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, this is what we do. This is how it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to grab from the spool again. I cannot believe how long that ended up being. Ugh. Okay. And I want it adjustable. Okay, so what were we going to cut out? So we are going to cut out those two. So again, you can add so much length just by your hardware and everything. And I will go ahead and keep that at the 7.5. I am going to change, I will swap out the clasp, and I'll put something else in there. Not the clasp, sorry, the chain. Okay, so we have that. What were we going to take out? Those two. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And then I know that this is going to be a long video. So what I want to do, we're taking those two. Ooh, that would be cute earrings. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we're going to do that. So since you guys already saw that, well, no, okay, so I got to remember, take those two. Take those two, because I'll sit here and ramble on. You know, I've made so many earrings with just this, with the large pearl, with the spacer and that. They're stunners. They really are. I love them. Okay, let's go ahead and keep this ball rolling. And we're going to do this one. We're going to do this one. We're going to take out the next two, which I could take out. I don't know though. That looks really pretty. And I could take out that, because let's see what it would look like as an earring. Let's just check it out. Let's just see. All right. So if we have this with this, with this, oh my gosh. Okay. All right, so we're changing things up again. All right, so we're gonna take out that one because I think it would be really pretty. So I gotta make sure it would look really pretty with having the two spacers, or I can just take out one of the spacers too. I could do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll take out one of the spacers too. I'm so sorry, you guys. I do this all the time, don't I? Where like, oh, we're gonna make this, and then I scroll and do something else. All right, let's continue with this, right? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna do this, and then I gotta remember that I took that out. Okay, and then we have this guy, right? And then we'll do that. Because I think what I'm gonna do is and you guys tell me, but I think I wanna do kind of how it was in the, kind of wanna do something like that. Oh my goodness, look how sparkly that is. Yep, oh man. I tossed it and it went on the other side. Dang it. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, okay, so if you guys watched my other videos, you will know that yesterday I was talking about, you know, more family stuff going on where my father-in-law was in the hospital. My husband sent me a picture and his dad is home. So grateful. And he was at the local hospital here in town and they did a good job with him. All right, so I am gonna use the same chain only because I feel like what I took away here. So what did I take away here? Really I only took away this. So can't grab that piece of wire anymore because it went off into Never Never Land. Okay, so let's do this because that's how it was strung. Let's do this and then we'll just kind of eyeball it and see how much extra I'm taking off. That's probably a good 1.25 inches, isn't it? So I will definitely get to my 6.5 inch. Yeah, okay. All right, my initial plan was to put those two together, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put all that together. All right, so now let's go ahead and do that same thing. I'm going to pull a few links here. We'll just let's go ahead and pull from here. We're going to pull one additional one. Okay, let's go ahead and open. And I don't remember where I got this chain from, but I've had it a really long time. And what I love about it is because it's a different gold. Now, what do I mean by different gold? Well, oh, look here. I have some Jesse James beads, and see how the gold is just a little different. Then, oh, here's more Jesse James beads. And who knows, I could have got this from Jesse James beads back in the day. But see, look, those are 3 different chains, all 3 different tones. Kind of crazy, huh? Now, I was initially going to use the heart as the extender, but the hardware, I couldn't get lobster clasp that was right. So that's what I mean by the different kind of, I guess not tone, the shade. Let's go ahead and cut this off. All right. Okay, so again, working from the spool, let's go ahead and do the same thing that we already did. I know we already did it, but I'm going to show you one more time. I'll do the second one off camera. And then we're going to come back and make those earrings. Is that okay? I hope it is. Because I actually had something else planned to add to this video to make it a little bit longer, but I'm probably going to be just doing that one on its own. And it's more Jesse James beads, imagine that. Because the Monster Mash jewelry party, it's coming up. It's coming up Thursday and Friday. So the 12th and 13th. All right, let's go ahead and grab our little extra piece. I'm actually going to add the piece that I broke off the last one. Okay, I just want to make sure it's going to be in the middle though. Get in between. I want it to go in between those 2 wires and it didn't. So I'm going to try it again. And what I mean by that is I have these 2 wires all nice and separated, and then I'm going to put that one right through the middle. There it is. So it's going to go right through the middle. Hold on to all of that. Come in with a magical crimper. Make sure I'm centered in there and give it a squeeze. You get your little 4 corners, and then you come around and go around. If I can get it to go. I can't get a good grip on it. There we go. And then you just keep on turning it and crimping until you feel no tension. And you can see that I still have tension because when I crimp down and it kind of moves. Okay, there we go. There we have it. There it is. Oh, this I'm gonna have to pass back through because it's coming out through the other way before I trim it. Oh, and I need to show you guys my project, right? Before I cut it, take it apart. And there are 2 kits. So there's 2 kits that you get. You get the kit from Jesse James Beads that has all the beads. And then you get the kit from Softflex Company that has a 10-foot spool of copper. I believe it's copper, it might be brass. And you get a black, which I'm going to be using the black. Then you get, those are full 10-foot spools. Then you're going to get full spools of 18 gauge copper and I think 24 gauge or 26 gauge, one of those. Can't remember. It's sitting across the way there, so I can't really even get it for you. All right, so I'm actually going to trim off this longer piece rather than that shorter piece. So now I have another piece. Then this one's going to go through that bead, and I'm just going to trim off the very little tip of it. And so now I know it's going to go through that bead, and I don't have to trim it on the other end. I just have to make sure it goes through. And it should. The other side went through. It just took a bit. And again, not for security purposes. It is all for cosmetic. If I can get it through. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it through. I might have to trim it off. I don't want to. There we go. Nope. Oh my word. I think I said that in the last video too. Okay. Yep, I'm going to have to trim it off. So I'm going to show you the difference. And again, it's very, very, very minute difference. But so when I put it on here, I feel like it's not like centered. And then I get as close as I can, but I still just feel like it's not as clean. So, but I will do it on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and I will come right back. Okay, so this is the size I was actually looking for. I was looking for 6 1/4 to, then it would be 7 1/4. And that's what I was looking for with this. And this one ended up being way too long. But again, I'm just going to go back and change out this and change it, and it'll end up being probably about a 7-inch bracelet, which that's fine too. So what we're going to do is, I had an extra jump ring. That's something else too. I try to sometimes have extra because I have them in little baggies. Well, for Tiara Cast, I have them in big baggies because I buy them in bulk. And I promise I will get some of these findings in my shop too, so that you can use them as well, because my Tiara Cast stuff is literally flying off the shelf. I cannot believe it. And I've had Tiara Cast on there for in the shop for quite a while, and it hasn't moved unless I'm just the last man standing with Tiara Cast. Okay. I have ear wires on there from Tiara Cast. And yeah, I have a lot of stuff. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make a knotted head pin. And what I did was I took 22 gauge German style wire, and I am gonna go ahead and make a knotted head pin. And again, I have this long piece because I pull it from my spool. So what I'm gonna do is, I haven't had very good luck with the knotted head pins, like coming out really well the last couple times. And that actually worked out okay. For some reason, it was like really separated from the they weren't tight. The coils weren't tight. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in our nylon jaw pliers. Get that right up against there. Okay, and then give it a tug. Be very cautious when you do tug, when you're pulling on here, because sometimes you'll let go. And then there we have our little knotted head pin. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add this guy. Maybe. This is a little wonky because I pulled it from the spool, but I don't want to, I want to use that for wrapping. I don't want to, I'm not going to use it for the actual piece, because by the time it gets up there. All right, and so there we have cute little knotted head pin, right? Okay, and then we did this. Wait. Yes, we did this. We did this. And then we did this. That has like a little kind of nubby on it. I'm gonna see if I can trim that little nubby. Yep. Because it's just gonna sit down in here anyways. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, again, we have 22 gauge wire. So when I am bending over my wire for my wire wrap loop and it's 20 gauge, I'm gonna be in just a little bit. This here is the size of the neck that's going to be on your wire wrapping. And I don't want more than 3 wraps. So when I use 22 gauge, I'm just barely off the tippy tip there. Go ahead and fold that over, and I have a nice 90-degree angle bend. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers about so, okay? Go ahead and form that over with my finger. I'm forming it over with my finger. So then I have this, right? I'll hold on to that and rotate, okay? But this needs to go out this way. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and push it. And when you look at it, it's off-centered. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make that all nice and centered. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and put my chain nose pliers on there, but not where the wires are crossing. So if you look, if you can see, because I turned my camera around again to try and, still working with trying to get focus in for you guys, really. Because when I turn my camera and do the front facing, when I looked at my video on YouTube, it wasn't as wide. So I gotta figure that out too. I'm getting there, you guys. All right, so now I don't have, my chain nose pliers are not where my wires are crossing. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take that tail and form it around. And since I have this long tail, I can go ahead and do that with my hands. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna come up as well. So we're gonna make a nice kind of bulky wrap up here. Okay, so we're gonna go up, and yeah, actually just going up twice worked. So I went down 2 and came up, or went down 3 and came up 2. Gonna go ahead and do that, and then tuck in that little bit of tail. And I want my chain nose pliers to be, my bent chain nose pliers, my second pair, to be right up against there, because I don't want to send that wire then poking through the hole. I've done that before where I've done it so badly that it poked through. Oh, let's go ahead and get, I have ear wires here. Where are they? And, oh, I'll grab the other one, because what I'll do is I will make the other one off camera, because this has probably been like an hour-long video, which I'll be able to cut some of it out, but, and go ahead and close that up. And then there's earrings. I love those. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make up the other pair of earrings, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave this on here for picture's sake, and I'll get some pictures and then hopefully get this video up for you guys tonight. And be sure to check out, like I said, the Monster Mash jewelry making party. There are still kits available. So this is Sunday. So Sunday morning, I saw that there were kits for Softlex and for Jesse James Beads. Then also too, while you're on jessejamesbeads.com, we got Winter Workshop coming up. So be sure to check that out too. So be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. Comment. I love to see what everybody has to say, and subscribe. And until next time, have a good one.